Oh, it's another day here at the Comeback Team Studios. This is your boy Beck Lover, and you're tuning into Beck Lover Live. We're on every freaking platform on the earth, so if you never checked out all our other content, you can pretty much just type in BEK Lover on Google and everything pops up. Or you can go to our website, BEK, that's B like boy, E like Edward, K like Kimberly, BeckLover.com for all your links. Make sure you subscribe below, hit that heart, and leave a comment because I'm doing all the hard work here. All you got to do is click a button. Interesting times indeed, my friends. We're living in a very interesting time. There used to be an old Chinese proverb, and they would say, may you live in interesting times. It wasn't necessarily a good thing. It meant that if you lived in interesting times, there was probably chaos going on. War, famine, plagues, all of the above probably. So, is a lot of that on the horizon for us? I'm not sure. I feel if you ask the average American how they're feeling these days, the blue collar, the middle class, people living in big cities like New York, Chicago, LA, Vegas, I'm pretty sure most people's outlook's very, very bleak. There may be some warning signs on the horizon, and we'll cover a little bit about that today. I'm broadcasting live here from the New York City area. It's a little gray with a little overcast. Basically looks like this picture I'm showing here. And by the way, you can watch the show if you're listening to the audio. You can also check us out on YouTube and Rumble and pretty much anywhere that has streaming. Kick also. We just added that one. There's so many damn platforms, it's hard to keep up with all of them. But we're out there. New York City. Usually they tell you have to watch out for the sharks on Wall Street. But we had a freak accident, and I'll get into that in a moment. You might want to be careful if you're stepping into the water of the New York beaches. It's not just the sharks of Wall Street you might be having to worry about. You might actually have to worry about real sharks biting you. There was a horrible accident in Italy, and every time you eat pizza or pasta, you sprinkle some of this cheese onto your food. There was a freak accident and a very cheesy way to die. Is the Great Depression on the horizon? Many Americans believe, even though they don't call what we're going through a recession, it's like we don't need the TV to tell us. We can look and we know that the average American is struggling right now. Inflation's through the roof. Everything's more expensive. And are there some really big warning signs that we might be heading into a Great Depression? There's a lot going on Wall Street, and we'll cover a little bit about that also. The man that they just can't seem to take down, Donald Trump, the former president, all kinds of trials and allegations. It's been one relentless attack. Will they finally get their way and get him charged and prosecuted? I don't know. One judge seems to be pushing back. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed, check out our podcast weekly with amazing guests. We've had some of the most extraordinary people in the world. That's the Beck Lover podcast. All the links are available if you go to BeckLover.com. If you're joining the live stream, I want to thank you. And I just want to let you know we're a little rusty. So we're back up and running. We're on every freaking platform in the world. And we got a ton of content coming your way. And there's a ton of content for you to catch up on. So go out there and make it happen. First story I want to talk about today. A woman was seriously injured by a rare shark bite off of New York City's Rockaway Beach. That's in Queens, for those of you that don't know where New York geography is. I once did a polar bear plunge to raise awareness for cystic fibrosis. In the dead of winter, there was literally snow on the beach in Rockaway Beach, and about a couple hundred of us polar plunged into the water to raise money for that horrible sickness, and hopefully they find a way to cure it. But in Rockaway Beach, a woman, this is reported by Newsday.com, a woman was seriously injured after a shark bit her on the thigh while she was swimming at a New York City beach. Officials say a highly unusual attack that appears to be the first recorded bite on the city's shoreline in decades. The 65-year-old woman, whose name has not been released, was swimming off Rockaway Beach just before 6 p.m. Monday when a shark bit her on the left leg. The city parks department said in a statement, lifeguards pulled the woman from the water and administered first aid. The woman was taken to Jamaica Hospital in critical but stable condition with severe lacerations to her thigh. A photograph of the woman's injured shared by lifeguards showed a deep gash above her knee with several inches of her outer thigh missing and blood around the wound. The bite appeared to be far more serious than many of the other shark encounters reported in the region. Lifeguards cleared all swimming from the water, and police used a helicopter to search the area for the shark, but did not find any. Experts say shark bites are extremely rare, with roughly 70 to 80 unprovoked bites worldwide each year. The last recorded shark bite on Rockaway Beach came more than 6 decades ago. In any event, I have a tremendous respect for the ocean. I just took my children down the shore to Atlantic City, and I have a rule. It's like, I don't want you past your knees because you're not on your home turf, and we're not at the top of the food chain in the ocean. You know, when we're not on a boat with sonar and weapons and all that other crap, but I'm talking about like if it's just us in the water swimming in our trunks and you get bit by a shark, odds are you're in serious trouble. And the fact that this could happen here, there, anywhere, you know, you don't know when it's going to happen. It can just happen. So I have a tremendous respect for the ocean. Besides currents that can pull you in, you know, I feel like a lot of people are just very lackadaisical when they go out into the ocean. Like, you know, nothing can happen. And I think this is just proof that every time you step in the water, you just never know. And the deeper you go in, the deeper shit you might be in. And that's proof. There has been a leak reported by Forbes of the Apple iPhone 15 Pro. The new leak suggests surprise big upgrade coming. It's not long now until Apple releases its next iPhone series, that is iPhone 15, iPhone 15 Plus, iPhone 15 Pro, and iPhone 15 Pro Max. Which one do you get? Want to know exactly when the iPhones will be unveiled and released for sale? Read the full details here, which I don't have time to do for you, but it's coming soon. 2 new reports claim there will be a very big upgrade to the coming handsets for an important element in any phone: storage space. Up to 2 terabyte storage for iPhone 15 Pro. First, according to the Korean blogger, the Apple iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max models will have a bigger storage option. They say courtesy of Apple Translate. This is the supplier's source. If the report is right, there will be an extra tier with 2-tier capacity. If that seems overkill, it may not be. Extra storage can be important because although much of our digital lives is stored in the cloud, we increasingly need storage on the phones themselves. Some iPhone features require higher storage levels, such as recording ProRes video in 4K resolution. I think it's a good move. I do think it might cripple their, it might hurt their need for iStorage, iCloud, where people pay a lot. But for someone that makes content, always on the go, making high videos, having that extra storage on the phone would be a nice feature. I guess we'll have to wait and find out for all you iPhone addicts. To me, all phones have become are like what computers were to us in the 90s and the early 2000s. You'd go out and spend all this money, get something with 5 gigabytes of RAM, then one came out with 7, then 8, and it's like, it's a never-ending, can I get better, 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 better? I've slowed down on how often I switch mines. I went from the 11 to the 13. From the 13, I don't think I'll be going to the 15 right away. I'll probably upgrade to the 16. I just don't see the need every couple of months or years to just upgrade the damn phone. It's doing what I need it to do, and I feel like, it's like anything else. You can always get just a little bit better, just a little bit better. So where do you draw that line in the sand? That's kind of my stance on the whole, iPhone thing. I take you to Italy now, where there was a really freak accident, and I don't want to joke about it too much, but it was a very cheesy death. An Italian cheesemaker was fatally crushed by thousands of wheels of cheese. I'm getting this from Cleveland.com. The Italian cheesemaker, Giacomo Ciaprani, he was 74 years old, Poor bastard. Died after he was crushed by thousands of wheels of cheese while working in his factory warehouse Sunday in Italy. He was buried by thousands of wheels of Grana Padano, a Parmesan-style hard cheese popular in Italy. The incident happened when a shelf broke in his factory warehouse, which holds a total of 25,000 wheels of cheese. Each cheese wheel weighed about 40 kilograms or 90 pounds. It took emergency responders about 12 hours to find his body. I mean, you want to talk about being buried under cheese? This guy was literally crushed to death by Parmesan cheese. I mean, I'm not trying to laugh here, but it's just really fucked up. I don't think I'll ever be able to pour Parmesan cheese on my pizza ever again without thinking about this, man. My condolences go to him and his family, because it is an art to be a cheese curator. It's a lot of work, and clearly it can be, I guess, kind of dangerous. I would have never thought this is a way someone would die, but it just shows you never know when your day is going to come. You never know when your time's going to go, and you just never know how the fuck you're going to die. I mean, I don't know what they're going to write on, his obituary, but it's just a sad story. The Dow Jones, that's the stock market for those of you that have no idea what that is, dives 450 points on Moody's bank downgrades. The Dow Jones Industrial Average slid more than 450 points Tuesday as Moody's cut the credit ratings of 10 U.S. regional banks. Moody's said it was downgrading the ratings of 10 banks due to lower profits and higher funding costs. And a lot of these banks are like really big banks, man, like Bank of New York, Mellon, Pinnacle, Commerce, M&T. Datadog shares plunged 20% in early morning trading. Basically, my friends, when they downgrade a bank, it means they're like not as strong. It's like you when you have a credit rating yourself. If you're in the 600, nobody wants to lend you more money. And this could be a beginning crack of what might be coming our way. The last time banks started being downgraded, we had a great recession. I have been calling that the next time we have a financial crisis, it won't be a recession. I believe it will be truly a depression, a Great Depression. I believe so much has transpired. We've never seen national debt like this. We've never seen the dollar at risk like this. We have countries across the world that we have helped and supported throughout the decades, countries like Brazil, India. We're the reason India has nuclear power. And they're all forming this alliance and what's known as the BRICS system, pushing away from using the US dollar as the reserve currency, which if that happens, my friends, we have never seen a dollar collapse. Yeah, we've seen the economy collapse. We've never seen a dollar collapse. If the US dollar loses its position as the reserve currency, the lifestyle that we have all enjoyed, the cheap gas, food, all this other stuff, my friends, is out the window. You've already started to experience the effects of inflation and just how horrible it really is, because the purchasing power of our dollar continues to diminish. Why? Because they're just printing and printing and printing and printing and printing and printing. And eventually we're going to have to pay the reaper. And nobody seems to want to handle the business in Washington. They're all fighting each other, destroying our lives, destroying our country, ramming us into debt, allowing millions of people to cross our borders. They're in the middle of Manhattan right now. They're talking about taking Randall's Island and turning it into a tent city, which means your tax dollars are going to go to pay for that. We're being taxed to death, and we're getting nothing for it. This is not good, my friends. How much more can the American worker take before too much is too much? There's been a 2-day Amazon summit to focus on climate change and human rights. This is reported by Euronews.com. 8 South American countries are meeting in Brazil to thrash out coordinated policies for the Amazon basin. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, does his name fit on a credit card? I don't know, is hosting a regional summit this week with planetary stakes as leaders of the countries that share the Amazon seek a roadmap to save the world's biggest rainforest, also known as the Earth's lungs, as they say. The meeting of the 8-nation Amazon Cooperation Treaty Organization on Tuesday and Wednesday in Belém, capital of the Amazon state of Para, will serve as something of a dress rehearsal for the COP30 UN climate talks, which the city will also host in 2025. It is the 28-year-old organization's first summit since 2009 as Lula seeks to deliver on his pledge that Brazil is back in the fight against climate change after a period of surging destruction in the Amazon under his far-right predecessor, Jair Bolsonaro. With its hundreds of billions of carbon-absorbing trees, the Amazon is a key buffer against global warming. So they're meeting in the jungle to try to prevent disaster. There's been a video that's been going viral the last 2 days of a massive brawl that occurred in Montgomery, Alabama. It started off between two people and just spiraled out of control. And there's been a lot of reposting of this video, and now the authorities are looking for everyone that was involved. The authorities have issued, this is reported by CNN, authorities have issued arrest warrants after a chaotic brawl broke out Saturday on a popular riverfront dock in Montgomery, Alabama. Alabama. That's the way Forrest Gump used to say it. With punches thrown, people hit with chairs, and at least one person tossed into the water. The melee began when a black man who a witness described to CNN as an employee engaged with a group of white men on the dock, according to the footage of the incident. A shirtless white man then charged and shoved the employee, and others pushed the worker to the ground and started punching him. The fight escalated further with other groups of people entering the fray, and after a short break in action, a second round of punches and attacks, the footage shows. Montgomery police said they were called to the scene and found a large group of subjects engaged in a physical altercation. According to a Monday news release, several people were detained and charges were pending. Police added, there are 4 active warrants and more could come. Major Saba Coleman, a Montgomery police spokesperson, told CNN. And we can see some shots here. It's just complete chaos and pandemonium. I noticed a lot of the videos I saw online were trying to turn this thing into a racial incident. I can't really comment on it. I don't know if it was racially charged. I would hope not. I hope it was just people being stupid and fighting over the usual nonsense. But it did look like black people fighting white people fighting black people. Like the lines were drawn along those two groups. It was white people and black people. But that doesn't necessarily mean it was racially motivated. The question is, was it? And I guess we'll find out as the police investigated. If it was racially motivated, I would hope that there would be charges for hate crime. Because we've had enough of this shit in this country. At the end of the day, most Americans get along. We just all want to work, pay as little tax as possible, move on with our lives. We all know that racism is not the answer. Hating people based on their skin color is not of the godly, because God made all people races, colors, and people just really need to chill the fuck out already, because I had enough of this shit. The Pope is in the battle against the machine. Reuters reporting the Pope warns against potential dangers of artificial intelligence. Pope Francis on Tuesday called for a global reflection on the potential dangers of AI, noting the new technology's disruptive possibilities and ambivalent effects. Francis, who is 86, said in the past he does not know how to use a computer, issued the warning in a message for the next World Day of Peace of the Catholic Church falling on New Year's Day. The Pope recalls the need to be vigilant and to work so that a logic of violence and discrimination does not take root in the production and use of such devices. My only question is, Pope, and all due respect to you, Your Holiness, if you don't even own a computer, maybe his advisors are telling him he should talk about this, but if you don't even own a computer in 2023, why are you even worried about it? And you won't even be around when this shit takes over, when the Terminator is unleashed. Boston Dynamics. You ever see those damn robots at Boston Dynamics? Those robots are terrifying. I mean, they're talking about policing cities with them. And, have you seen the videos, guys? Go to YouTube, type in Boston Dynamics. These fucking things make the Terminator look like a kindergartner. They're dancing and shit. They're doing flips. They hold guns. It's fucking crazy. Scary, interesting times we live in, my friends. DeSantis, a guy that I really liked, leaving parties out of it. I really liked what he did during the, closing of the country and the world. He kept Florida open and did amazing things down there and protected individual freedom, business owners' rights, et cetera, et cetera. I made many trips to Florida when everything was shut down up here in New York City. But there's been a war started between him and former President Trump, and it does not look like it's going too well for him. It looks like, from what I can tell, the people that are in the conservative party, Republican Party, Beck Lover, for the record, is a libertarian. I don't like either party. They all have guilt and blood and debt accumulation and destruction of our country in their hands. I'm a libertarian, for the record, for those of you that want to claim, he's a, I like to use my brain and critically think and not just follow anyone blindly. DeSantis fired his campaign manager. So I guess that means the campaign ain't going too well. It'll be interesting if Donald Trump doesn't end up in jail if they come up with another 200 cases against him, because they seem to find a new thing every month to try to, throw at the, I'll call him the Teflon president. So far, none of their attempts have worked, but assuming he runs the former president, which he's already announced that he will, I don't think DeSantis can topple him. I don't think. I think if DeSantis was smart and he was serious about maybe winning, he probably would have ran as the VP and then he could become president. That probably would have been his best road to victory. But, I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking, and I really don't know if he has a shot. What do you think? Leave a comment below. President Biden, if he's really the one that called the shots here, to designate 1 million acres around Grand Canyon a national monument. Joe Biden will designate nearly 1 million acres expanse around the Grand Canyon as a new national monument, protecting the region from future uranium mining. Well, that's a nice thing to do. Establishing the Baj, I can't even say it, guys. I think it's definitely Native American, and I can't. It looks like Navajo. Baj, Navajo, Itaka, Kukaveni, Grand Canyon. Sounds pretty good there. Grand Canyon National Monument. So basically, he's protecting the Grand Canyon region from mining and all that other stuff. Last article I want to cover on this short episode of Beck Lover Live. You can count on me doing this almost daily, so make sure you subscribe, and it'll get better and better and better. I got to take the cobwebs off, guys, so forgive me. Federal judge comes out swinging against the DOJ special counsel in Trump classified docs case. This is reported by Fox News. The federal judge overseeing the classified documents case against former President Trump delivered multiple blows to special counsel Jack Smith's efforts in a brief Monday. Judge Aileen Cannon of the Southern District of Florida, who is presiding over the case that stems from a Miami grand jury's June indictment of Trump, denied the Department of Justice request for sealed findings, striking two from the record. Cannon also requested additional information from prosecutors about the continued use of an out-of-state grand jury to investigate the case. The special counsel states in conclusory, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm rusty, man. That the supplement should be sealed from public view to comport with grand jury secrecy, but the motion for leave and the supplement plainly failed to satisfy the burden of establishing a sufficient legal or factual basis to warrant sealing the motion and supplement, Cannon wrote in the brief denying the DOJ request. So it's going to be a battle, my friends. My only question is, what happened to all the documents they found with the current administration that weren't supposed to be where they are? It seems like the laws only seem to be going towards one way and not the other. It seems very hypocritical. I don't give a shit if you're Republican or Democrat, liberal, conservative. We need to hold these people accountable. We need to watch them. If there's corruption, it needs to be cut out like gangrene, because corruption rots the entire system from the inside out. Simple. America must be protected. Freedom of speech, the Bill of Rights, business, individual liberty. We shouldn't be taxed like crazy. We literally became a country because we refused to pay tax to a monarchy. And It seems like we're taxed to death, especially in places like New York and California. It's fucking ridiculous. This is Beck Lover. Interesting times indeed. Check out all the other content, and I'll keep pumping it out. You keep listening. I'll see you next time on Beck Lover Live.
Lover.